Hey, Facebook. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is your girl, Tamara Zantel, and I am coming to you live. It's been a minute. Y'all, that I've been live on my page. I spent a lot of time in the Raising A Mogul community, but I'm not usually live for you guys. So hey. So I'm coming to you live this evening with another episode of the Raising a Mogul TV show. I just pop in here and just kind of like tell you what it is whenever it is I got something to tell you, right? So tonight I'm spending some time with Dr. Sheva Quinn, and I'm very excited about this conversation because we're going to talk about leveling up and risk taking. Okay. And if you don't know Dr. Sheva Quinn, you should, because not only is she the homeschool mogul, but she's also running the business bakeries where she's helping other parents, women, right? Homeschooling women make up businesses and really just launch into their destinies and their dreams while taking great, amazing care and while nurturing their young moguls at the same time. And she's also started some new ventures, which I'll let her tell you all about that. And in addition to that, definitely not least, she is the CEO. We'll have her explain the difference of Ziggy and Tootie cakes. Yes, where her young moguls are the youngest bakery owners in the nation. So, hey, Sheva.
Hey, girl.
First of all, I want to say thank you for saying yes.
Yes, of course. This is great.
Yeah.
But I always want to tell somebody your story, but everybody's not ready to receive it. So it has to be a yes.
Right. You got it. So tell the people a little bit about who you are, what you do, and some of the goodness that you have going on. And anything that you leave out, I'll make sure I squeeze out of you.
Okay. So as Tamara said, I am the COO of Ziggy and Tootie Cakes. Ziggy and Tootie Cakes was founded about 5 years ago by my daughters. They were 3 and 4 years old, and we were just in the kitchen and doing what we do. And so we shared on Facebook, them baking cakes or making cakes, and everybody wanted to order cakes. And we've been hustling and pushing cake all over the world ever since then. They are doing phenomenal in business. This year, they opened up their first, I say the first because there's more to come, right? Their first bakery. They got their first retail bakery this year, and it has just taken their business to a whole nother level. I'm retired Air Force. I retired from the military in 2012. And I just see this as an opportunity to just really be there for my kids. Like, I feel like I've done my part, right? Like I've worked, I've done that. And so anything that I do now is simply because I enjoy what I do, as far as serving and helping other people. But at the end of the day, all my time and energy goes into Ziggy and Tootie Cakes.
I love that. So it's very, very clear that I might want to say that they're in charge.
Yes, they are in charge. Yes.
Ziggy and Tootie, if anybody follows our plan or just follows Ziggy and Tootie, you know that they are very much in charge. They're both two little powerhouses, and I call them the little Shevas because they are so much like their mom. It's just hilarious. But the interesting thing, Sheva, is that they're so different, but they're still so much alike you. I don't know if they're just two different parts of you or what.
They personalities. Everybody in this house is a boss, and it's like everybody has an opinion about how something's supposed to be. So yeah, it's a lot of boss companies.
I'm sure that
take place.
That can't always work.
It doesn't.
So tell me about the days when it doesn't, because I know there's going to be some parent managers going to watch this and be like, wow, 2 bosses, 3 bosses in one house, too many bosses and the real boss. What does that look like?
Oh my goodness. Like, we have arguments quite often because one of them is very creative and the other one is very like matter of factly, like, just let's do it this way because this works and get it done. And the other one is like, well, let's draw, like, let's add more sugar to it. Let's see how it happens. And so unfortunately, if it's a customer's order, I have to step in and be like, no, we're getting this order out. Like, it has to be straight up. But if it's an opportunity for them to experiment and just see where it goes, then hey, whichever one has the biggest mouth that day wins.
I love it. I love how free-spirited the parenting process is, because I feel like I'm similar in that way. but I had to grow. I wasn't that way when my kids were that young. I had to grow into it. And I'm more like that with my grandkids because I had to learn. And my biggest thing was what I had to learn was how to cut out, how to transition away from the old, like the way I learned and how I was parenting, and really just kind of just be okay with doing things the way I wanted to do them. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
So I think that, yeah, so that made the biggest difference. So when I watch you with the girls, I'm just like, it just feels so free. You know, even this structure, there's guidance, but at the same time, they're allowed to be their individual and best self, even that young. You know what I mean? And that's actually really rare because a lot of parents are like, oh no, I already know what you gonna look like, what you gonna be like, you gonna go, how you gonna dress. I wrote it all out. You know what I mean?
We were in Atlanta this past weekend, and my mom took the girls to church with her, and she took them shopping for church clothes because I didn't pack no church clothes. I know they was going to church, and my youngest was like, I have to have a long sleeve shirt. And my oldest was like, and I'm not wearing a dress. And my mom was like, what am I supposed to get them for church? I'm like, heck, I don't know. Give them whatever.
Right. But ask them
long
what they
sleeve
want.
shirt and no dress.
They'll tell you what they want. Okay, so I want to pause before we actually jump into the whole purpose of this live. And I want to say, hey to Kia, hey Jacqueline, Tara, Lakeisha, Tashanta, and Chris Bishop. Hey everyone, make sure you say hello, give us some hearts, share this video out, tag another parent manager, another business owner that wants to know how Dr. Sheva is actually making this whole amazingness work with her two young moguls. But the purpose of this live and the purpose of Dr. Sheva giving us some of her time this evening, giving me some of her time this evening, is because I want to talk about leveling up, and I want to talk about how risk-taking has played a role in not only your business and branding, but also for your kids. You know, can you tell us a little bit about that process and how do you? Yeah, I know it's been a lot because she just told us that they're on bakery for one, and neither one of them is 10 yet, right?
Neither one of them is 10.
Neither one of them is 10 yet. So 10's the marker. One of them has been here a decade, and they already have bakery number one, and she made it clear that this is just the beginning. So that process, that the thought process for the average parent or the average person really is like, hold up, what? I can't even, I'm trying to process this, you know? So what the heck does that look like when you even are making the decision for the first bakery?
It is scary, it is exciting, and it is one of those things, like you were saying earlier. I mean, you just got to be ready to just jump in, like take a chance, like invest when you don't have it. You know, it's one of those things to where if you keep thinking about it, you won't do it. It's one of those things to where if you're not surrounding yourself with the right people, you won't do it, because everyone has a question about, well, aren't they too young? Well, what about, well, how does school look? And I mean, all that, right? So you have to definitely be really ready to invest and be around people that want to see you win. Investing for me, it happened so fast that I didn't even know I was saying yes to some of the things I was saying yes to. It was like, okay, pass me my purse.
But hold on. Okay, so but in that decision, before you make that decision, like, what does that feel like? Like, how do you?
It felt right. Like, first of all, when I joined the brand strategy lab, right? Like, it felt right. Like, of course, like many other people, I had done other programs, and oftentimes I felt like that being in some other coaching programs, I was like this number out there, right? I mean, you get all these courses, but you feel like a number out there. And I knew that I would perform well in a smaller group setting. And so when it started, and the things that you were promoting that would take place, and of course, I mean, we all know what is going on with your child. I mean, you can't deny that Xandra is all over the internet, you know what I mean? So if you're ready to level up, like, you have to at some point in time say, okay, the time is now. And I didn't know that the time was like now when that happened, because when I joined the brand strategy lab, we hadn't even got the bakery yet. It was all in alignment, right? It just felt right. And I knew that I needed some changes. Like, I knew that, yeah, me being in other programs where people are talking about, say, funnels and how to strategize and all that, those things were great, but none of them were kid centered. And that's the thing. Like, it has to be related to a child. Like, I can talk to adults all day long. I can teach an adult how to build a funnel all day long. But when it comes to kids, it's a different type of way that you have to maneuver through this thing. Because first you have to convince people that your child is serious about business, or that you're seriously supporting your child, right?
That's a whole battle in itself.
Oh,
that's a whole, like, some people need like to lay on somebody's couch even just for that piece of becoming a parent manager, because a lot of people don't even make it past that part, Sheva. They don't, because the family, the people at work, the people at church, everybody, like you said earlier, has something to say. And when you're a little iffy yourself, you're just gonna be like, you know what, they're right. Let's just forget it.
Right, exactly. Even my counselor, like, you know, because I'm throwed off, right? Like Tamara said, well, I said it, I'm retired military. So I got PTSD.
Hold on, did you say thrown off? Hold on. Did you say I'm thrown off? Is that what you said?
I'm thrown off here, right? Like, you might catch me on some bad days, and you might catch all kind of cuss words. You might catch me 3 hours later. I'm like, hi, how you doing today? I mean, you know, hey, it's just, I mean,
it's what it is.
I'm shell shocked. But yeah, but even my therapist, so I had to have a conversation with her, because of course, you know, I'm going to family therapy, well, just therapy. One of them was a family coach. And I'm telling her, you know, what's going on in our life. And she wasn't believing it, because she was an older woman. She's like, so like, okay, we're going to be talking about this later, because you don't waste how much money. And, you know, it was her attitude. I was like, okay, now see, she ain't believing me either. You know, so I had to have conversations with her and make her understand that this is real. Like, if you ain't trying to support me in this, I'm about to give somebody else this check, because I need to talk about this, like you said, on your couch.
Right, exactly. And that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, like I said, people don't push past that piece, or they still push past it just enough, but they still play very safe. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so for me, what that could have looked like is, and for a while, I was playing safe, where it was like, okay, a lot of people had questions. Being a kid in business was just like, what? You know, in 2009, like that time, people thought I was crazy. And they thought she was so cute. It was so funny where it got to the point where we would kind of get angry, you know, when she'd be out at things, and people thought it was almost like the pat on the head, you know.
I hate it when people says, oh, they have a cute little cupcake business. Chick, ain't nothing cute about this. Like, this is real business. This is not cute. Like, this is grown up interaction we doing. You got your credit card? How many dozens do you need?
I was just about to say that. I'm about to charge you like it's not cute. How cute you think it is when I charge you full price, like the bakery up the street, because we really do business. This is real business, you know? But yeah, so that process for me, it was like, I could have, you know, for a while, I held back from investing, because I was allowing other people to dictate what my success and her success could look like. And really her success and my success, which eventually became her success, and her success became mine, you know, and you know, that was years later. But it was really, I was investing in her dream with my time and my energy. And I was still investing money, but because I was ordering stuff and, you know, playing for $50 vending events and buying tablecloth and getting a banner. We were doing real business, you know. But then when it came time to, like, it was like, okay, the dream just kept growing. And she was very adamant. I was like, hold on. Okay, let me figure out what needs to happen here, because there's a lot that needs to happen that I'm not capable of. I'm not capable of giving her or getting her where she needed to be. I just had to be honest. And I knew that was going to come at a higher level of investment. That's when I really took a risk. That's when I was like, okay, you know, they're gonna think I'm really crazy. They're gonna totally stop talking to me. Like my parents were like, what? The people at work were like, what? You're doing what? You think she can do what? I was like, yep. And I kept it to myself for a while, because I still wasn't sure, you know. But then I got to the point where I was just wide open with the freedom of knowing that I made the best decision for my child, for me, for my family, and there's nothing you could do about it. But that takes growth. It takes maturity. You know, not everybody's ready for it.
And for us, I think opportunities were knocking so hard that it was like, if you ain't got your stuff together, you better get it ready. You better get it ready real quick. Like, opportunities were just They were there. And it was to the point to the type of opportunities to like, it's not going to come back around next year. You know how oftentimes we say, well, if I can't do it right now, I'll do it later. It wasn't those type of opportunities. It was the type of opportunities like, you have to get on this ship right now because we're setting to sail. And timing is very important in this, because let's just be real. When kids are small and cute, it's easier to maneuver and position them. But as the older that they get and the more adult they become, it's not as easy. So timing is very important. If you really catch it while it's young and start to grow and nurture that thing, by the time that they do hit 10 or 12 or 13, like, it's already set. All they got to do is just be the mogul that they was designed to be, right? Like, you don't have to do as much work because you've done it all when they were earlier. But
I can attest to that.
Time, and we're like, well, they have time to get to it. Well, they're still young. Dude, those years go by quick.
They go by so quick. And guess what happens? The phone calls stop coming. The emails
stop being cute. They stop coming.
Right. Ask like all these child stars. Ask all the children that were on the on TV in the 80s and the 90s. Yes. Like, what is you not cute no more? It changes, which is why we're doing more than we have an issue with the whole cute thing. Like, cute can get you in the door, but you really need to know. They really need to know their stuff. And so, like, so if there's any parent manager listening and be like, okay, so cute, got it, check. I got a cute kid. Okay. But there's way more to it. You know, we're not just talking about your child showing up. We want them to show up great. And greatness looks like them understanding their stuff, them knowing what their business inside and out, them understanding their product, their service, them being able to, to have conversations in the room when they're the only child, like, if they can learn everything else that the world is throwing at them, song, commercials and jingles and all this other nonsense that the world wants them to absorb, they can absolutely absorb what it's going to take for them to build that empire. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And
they understand more than what many parents give them credit for. Because
yes.
Not too long ago, my kids had an interview, and it was a late night interview. And one of them's question was, are we getting paid for this? And I'm like, if you don't sit your tail down here and do this interview. But to her, and after, of course, I got it, because to her it was an invasion of her time, and she was not being, compensated for.
Listen, here's the thing: they understand way more than we understand when it comes to respecting our time, our personal space. A little kid, a 2-year-old, in a minute, be like, "Why are you breathing on me? Why are you so close to me? Right? Or why are we eating this? This is nasty." Honesty from the beginning. So nurturing that in your children and just kind of shaping it, right? It's really what we should be doing, which is really what we should be doing.
Because how many times have we showed up as adults trying to get our thing launched, showed up and did things for free and knowing that they paid someone else, but why they didn't pay us, right? So imagine if we had the tenacity and drive of a child to be like, I don't know if you saw, let me back this all the way up. Let me back this up. I don't know if you saw this earlier this week, but my kids, they did they had the cake challenge going on, right? The nail challenge. And my youngest, Tootie, if y'all don't know Tootie, you have to get to know this child. She's a handful.
She's really something special.
And when we were at the event, the host was getting ready to close out the event. And so my child was like, hold on for a second, I have something to say. She was like, that cake over there, these people, she didn't mean it in a bad way, but this is just how she talks. These people, they didn't pay us for the cake. They took our challenge and, she started explaining the challenge, right?
Right.
And so then towards the end, she goes to ask the lady, so do you have a tip for us? And so the lady was like, you're doing great. Keep up the good work. And I was like, she talking about money.
Ma'am, have you paid attention to what's going on here? That is not the tip she's looking for. That is hilarious.
It was in the middle of everybody. She had the stage and the microphone, and all eyes was on this child. Yes. But my point being, we would never do that, right? Like, we wouldn't just be like, oh my goodness, well, they didn't pay us, and then we go back and talk to our friends about it. But kids, when they understand their business, understand that they're there to make money, they have a whole different mindset as to how to approach them. And just to be clear, they did end up they did get a tip, right? but in that moment, being a child, like she wanted to be placed in her hand. It was sent to her bank account, but she wanted it in her hand.
She was like, let me just make sure before I finish kissing babies and shaking hands that I'm getting paid for this. And I get it, because it's a serious thing. My child asked me the same thing. First question, oh, Xandra, we got an email. You got to have a meeting with your manager. And he's going down the list, talking to all three of us about what she has coming up. How much, how much they talking? Well, for what? Oh, for free? Oh, no, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. She gave up on some big, because her time is so valuable. She's worked so hard, whereas now she can choose, she can pick, and she can be selective. You know what I mean? So she gave up on some huge opportunities this year, huge visually, because they didn't want to. They didn't give her the things that she wanted. Not that she's Mariah carrying them. It's not like, diva, but it was like, I wanted to lead to something greater. I wanted to support my nonprofit or another initiative. But when you get to that level and your child gets to that level, they should be able to ask questions. And all of us should be able to ask questions when you've invested the time, the energy, and the effort into actually to the point where you deserve the status.
Exactly.
And requested, you have options. And that's what, as parents, we're all working towards, is so that our children can have greater options, whether that just means 10 or 20 colleges to choose from that they got accepted to, or, got, hired from a different, 5 jobs, they accepted their application, or scholarships to apply, whatever it is. We want options, we want them to be able to have freedom when it comes to exercising their choice. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal. So let me pause again and just double check the chat. Hey, Terry. Hey, Kathy, Latoya, Zipporah. Chris is still hanging in there. Hey, Belinda, Sally. Let's see. Okay. And I don't see any questions. If you guys have any questions for Dr. Sheva Quinn or myself, please let me know. We're talking tonight about risk-taking and really just investing in the next level. What does that look like? And I'm asking Dr. Sheva Quinn, what did that look like for her and her young moguls? And more specifically, I want to know from her, I want her to share with you all why she decided to invest in the Brand Strategy Lab. And if you're not sure what the Brand Strategy Lab is, it is a program, a 12-week program through Raising a Mogul. It's a program where you get to spend lots of time with me and also Tashanta, and we work on things from really depending on where your brand is. If it's a brand that is just started, we can work through the brand build process, social media boot camp, sales and marketing, getting your products into stores, email marketing. And I actually just added some really amazing things like the Young Mogul Speech Academy and some other things that came out of the actual beta program that you were in, Sheva, because what we did is we launched the beta just so with just some, I'd like to say some handpicked amazing parent managers so they can help us. Thank you. See, she said it was amazing. And the purpose of it was really with what we're doing with Raising a Mogul. It's really important that I don't jump out the gate and be like, here's the thing. This is going to change your life. Join this. It was important to me that I find some amazing parent managers that could actually help me shape the way the program was going to look for every other cohort to come beyond it. You know what I mean? So that's why you are considered the founding members of the Brand Strategy Lab. Seriously.
Listen, I was the first one out the gate in the lab, period. I mean, oh my goodness.
She was the first one out the gate in everything. Let's just say that, and that's okay. She absolutely is. And I commend her for that, because like she said, when it's a no-brainer and you just, the instinct just kicks in, it's like, okay, how much do I pay? What I got to do? Because I already know, and I talked about this earlier. And then you were on that live when I talked about investing in the next level so you can go further faster. And it costs money to be in a circle of other people that also have influence, that are also working just as hard as you. Because nobody wants to be just one of many, and nobody wants to be sitting at the table or working on a group project with a whole bunch of duds. Like, what do I want to do that for?
You're the smartest one in the room. You need to find you a new room.
That's it. That's it right there.
In the same brain space with someone or that's on another level that can help bring the best out of you. I mean, I know that talking about leveling up and growing, the things that we're doing now, we were not able to do prior to, the whole brand strategy experience. And the reason I say that, we were home-based bakers. Everyone, of course, starts out at home. But in being a home-based baker, you have what they call cottage laws. And with cottage laws, it pretty much tells you what you can and cannot do. And if you are doing some things, then you have to get with a chef, a certified kitchen, and do things through them. Like, it was just a whole bunch of stuff. Now, did we break some rules? Of course we did. However, did we have some things in place of CYA in case we ever got caught? Of course we did. But who wants to live that life, right? Like, who wants to live that life under the radar all the time? And we have a couple certified kitchens around here. So a lot of times we would go to the certified kitchens and do our baking and then ship out. But technically, up on the college food law, you can't ship from your house, right? Because at least you can't ship. You can't even ship, you let alone cross state lines, right? So it has to come from a certified kitchen. And of course, there's reasons for that. And so when we got the bakery, it just allowed us to do business on a whole bigger scale. And some things that have came out of that is that, of course, now we ship all over the world, even though we were shipping then, but we're doing it in a more professional manner now than we were before. Because even when you're working out a shared kitchen, you got to hurry and get in and out of there so that other people can get in and do their thing. And it's a lot, right? And then doing it with small kids, and it's like, oh my goodness, I gotta bake 12-pound cakes, it was just too much. And so now we have the luxury of being able to bake on a schedule that works well for us. But as far as growing and scaling, like, now we have contracts coming at us left and right. We were able to secure contracts through the holiday season and make sure that, the kids were making their money, all because we got into a facility that allowed us to level up. Like, when you're still playing small, you can't do what the big dogs do, and especially in this baking space. And so that was the one thing. And then we were able to get put on list as being certified vendors and caterers at events. Like, we're on almost every list around here in the museums and stuff to be one of the people you call first. Like, you got to consider Ziggy and Tootie Cakes and pay them if you plan on doing business, hosting an event at this venue. You know what I mean? So that was really big. We couldn't do that from a home-based kitchen, right? No. That was not happening. And so another things that happened is that here recently we got put on as not contractors, but certified vendors for the Army Air Force malls. And so we can being at any Army and Air Force mall in the world, right?
Wow.
That was really big. We also got an opportunity to appear with the Georgia Grown program in the state fair this year. That, again, was something really big. We couldn't do that at the level of being a home-based business, but all that required levels of investment. So the first level of investments was saying, okay, I'm gonna get up out of my home kitchen and get a certified kitchen, get my own certified kitchen. So that was the first level. And then the coaching and mentoring that needed to go along with that, as far as running a child-based business, because you don't want it to seem as if you're taking over your kids' business. Like, this is Ziggy and Tootie's thing, right? This is Ziggy and Tootie. They are the bakers.
Really
I open the oven and turn on the hot water and make sure that the frosting is smooth. Like, that's my job. All the creativity and stuff they have. We are at this computer many a nights drawing and sketching and seeing how things are going to come out. I'm more of a business savvy type person. So I, like you said earlier, I do the business bakery and work with adults and that type of thing. But when it comes to the whole cake thing, that's Ziggy and Tootie's. And so, just being able to make sure that they remain the face of their brand and not like, it's mama over here, I'm doing it now. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's very important when it comes to children business, making sure the integrity of the business remains, because that's what people buy into. They buy into the brand. Like, they ain't interested in me. Right?
Not at all. And if for any reason, if there's any small window of doubt, so your child shows up and the interviewer has the mic in their face and they can't answer the question, or there's a moment where it feels like there's a puppet show going on, you're done.
Yep.
You're done. And I have to say, our all of our children are brilliant. All of our children are capable of amazing things, but not all of our children want to be bosses. Not all of our children want to be CEOs. You know, I guess, I mean, maybe they'll come around, but maybe you have to really have a conversation with your kid and see if they're willing, or maybe you just haven't found the right thing. You know what I mean? Maybe they need to write the book first. You know, maybe they want to be behind the scenes and just start making and working on their craft. So whatever it is, it's going to look different for every parent manager or every parent in general. But you have to really understand your kids, understand your family dynamic before you start putting stuff out there, because you have to, you don't want to put it out and then it just fall apart right in front of you, because that happens. I've seen it happen. I've seen kids fall apart in life. I've seen kids fall apart at a pitch competition. I've seen kids, you know what I mean? Like, we've been around the block a few times and I've seen kids fall apart and they just can never come back from it, you know? So, so when you talk about the investment, and it's really critical, because investing, leaving your house to go to a commercial bakery is no small feat. So I understand, like, you were like, I just grabbed my purse. I just had to do it. But how long does it take to make a decision like that? And what things did you consider? Because you didn't know the contracts and all stuff. You knew it was bigger than you, I'm assuming, but you didn't know how big.
I didn't know how big it was.
Right,
like,
right.
I didn't know how big it was. Like, to making the decision to move into a bakery, I think we kind of had been kicking it around for a minute, but we just didn't think that the prices that they were asking for facilities around here we could afford. And so finally, when we found this one location, it was within our price range and all that. And so it was just a matter at that point of signing the contract. That took about 3 days. And here's the thing, I didn't tell anyone that was naysayers in my world. Like, I didn't tell anyone that had an opinion. How about that? Only person knew was me. And just so happened, when I was like asking the guy, can I come by and look at the facility? I was on Facebook Messenger with someone. So I was like, hold on for a second. I'm talking to this guy about this contract. That was the only person that knew. The kids didn't even know, right? Like, I was just moving because I knew if I shared it and if I start telling people and wanting people's buy-in, especially people that love you and care about you, because I think they really want what's best.
I like that you did that.
They don't know.
Y'all got that?
They don't know the visions, right? Like, they don't know like what's in you. And if you're not careful, they'll be gonna talk you out of something real quick and you never got a chance. And so, yeah, so I just started moving. I met the guy, wrote him the check, and was like, when can I get the keys? He asked me, what did I need in order for this to work? I told him, and he was like, okay, I'll take care of it. Like, we didn't have to buy a kitchen sink. He put one in for us. I need to buy us a new one. It's an old one, but he put one in for us. He made sure we had shelving, everything. I mean, because I took the chance. Yes, I took the chance and I wrote the check. I mean, everything else just fell into place. Now
that's it right there. Everything else just fell into place.
And then the brand strategy lab showed up, and I'm like, yes, okay, cool. What we doing now?
You take the
I
risk.
want to go from here. What we doing now?
What we doing now? Now I got this thing now. Okay, like I don't already pay for it. Now what do I do? So y'all, I hope you guys are really listening. So anybody that's been stuck, anybody that's kind of like on the fence and trying to figure out what's the next thing I should be doing? What should I invest in? Do I zig? Do I zag? Should I invest at all? If it's a dream and it's something that you and your child are trying to push to another level, there's always going to be an investment. Yes, your time, your energy, your resources initially. Then you really got to put your money where your mouth is. That's where that term comes from. Put your money where your mouth is. You say you want it. Now you got to go get it and buy into it. You know, I remember, Sheva, that same transition from when we moved into Xandra's first production facility. And it was like a facility, but it was a small incubator space. Her first rent was only $135 a month. And I thought I was going to die. It had nothing to do with the amount of money each month. It had to do with the fact that now there was no turning back, because I gave it a name. I gave it a title. It was probably a little bit bigger than the average size bedroom. You know what I mean? However, the way I positioned it and the way we announced it to the world and the way she talked about it and the way we talked about it and we dreamt about it and we put it on her vision board, that was her production facility. Yep. It was her production facility. So then when she did interviews, well, my production facility, where we do production, she was 12. You know what I mean? Like she had a store, and when she talked, they were like, well, is this, and the only reason we could have the store because she had a production facility.
Right.
You understand what I mean? So when we started moving into, and we invested in coaching, and we started understanding the laws for FDA, because skincare is still FDA, being GMP compliant, understanding processes of formulating skincare and what can be around in the environment and all these things. I was like, we can't be here. I got 2 dogs. You know what I mean? I was like, they're gonna come get us. Like we had to, the same thing you said, like
this. Yeah, because we got a dog. I'm like, child, listen, when y'all coming back, let me send a dog to y'all dead house.
Yeah. But this is the thing. It's like we fly under the radar for too long. But if you say you really want it, you have to start moving as if you want it. Mm-hmm. You have to start showing up. And as soon as you start showing up in the universe, and it's like the world, like the energy, the aura, that just everything starts. It's like, wait a minute, they're serious. As soon as you start kicking it in, everything else just like, it's like doosh, 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 like, and then the level, it just gets so much easier. And it's a risk. It's a huge risk, you guys.
But it's a type of risk that you got to keep moving on. Like you can't go back to where you came from, right? Like we can't come back to this house. Like that's not even an option. It's almost like you leave your parents' house. Like once you leave, you're done. You're going back.
There's no choice. That's the same way. So like we went from small little space, 300 square feet or 150 square feet to 342 square to 1,200 square feet to 1,300 square feet with an office and a boutique space. Oh my gosh. Then we went to 5,000 square feet. And now we're like, are we gonna be able to handle this? Do we need now the decision, Sheva, to think about a larger warehouse space or manufacturing facility for Zandra? It's an easy conversation. There's no more fear involved because we know that we need to be able to put 25 pallets in one part of the studio and still have production space. We need to be able to host 16 classes for summer camp. You know what I mean? So when you invest in your the one thing and you keep moving, it just keeps growing and growing. It grows legs, it grows arms, it just becomes so huge.
People start calling you, want to give you money.
Yes.
Like, if you come speak, we have a stipend for you. Hell yeah, I can come speak.
I was wondering because you guys are doing, and because the thing about it is, and I talk about this all the time, people that are doing real business and that have the money and that can support you and get you to your next level, those people, we always talk about the people, the rooms, we want to have a seat at the table. The people that are at the table that you want to have a seat at, they're not going to invite you. Right. If you're not already moving, they're not looking for beginners. They're not looking for somebody that shoulda, coulda, woulda, trying to sort of thinking about it. I might jump, I might leap, I might give you $1 when you ask for 10. No, you're not getting a seat at this table. You're gonna have to you're gonna sit in the hallway forever until you start moving towards the door and you start investing. Then when you get in the room and you sit at the table and you're like, oh, wait a minute, everybody's in? Okay, I'm all in. And then the opportunities just start coming because the people that have those opportunities, the people like us that are already moving, that have been through something and have already proven something, have the street cred, built something. We're not nearly where we want to be, but we've already built something. I'm not fooling with you if you're not moving too, because you're wasting my time.
Exactly.
You're a waste of my time. I don't have time to slow down and start from scratch with you.
Let me tell you, today someone showed up at my house and knocked on the door because she had been trying to reach me and she couldn't get me.
No way.
She was like, Dr. Quinn, I know I'm intruding, but I just got to ask you, can I get on your calendar? I've been trying to call you and your line's been going straight to voicemail.
That's creepy. However, the moral of that story is you will be in demand. You will be in demand as soon as you start moving. And this is not where this conversation was supposed to go, but I have to say this. So many entrepreneurs, we struggle. It's a lonely space. And then you add on parenting a child that's also an entrepreneur, especially when you're trying to do your thing too. It's very scary. It's like scary times 100, right? So, but for many of us, we stay stuck in this scary self-doubt, just this doubtful, fearful, restrictive little box. And we get mad at people because they don't support us. We get mad at people because they don't see our vision. We get mad at people because they're restricting us. They're stopping us from growing because they won't give us what we want. But really what we should be mad at is this freaking fact that we didn't start moving yet. You know what I mean? Like, because as soon as we start moving, everything else would move. We got to stop blaming everybody else for the fact that we didn't get off the starting block yet. You gotta just move and just cut out all the damn excuses. And
there's going to be some sacrifices to get to moving. Like there are going to be some sacrifices you have to make to move. Like, oh my goodness, I have deferred car payments. I don't deferred house payments. I'm like, well, if I pay at least half, they ain't gonna come get it. Well, we got supplies now. What kind of sprinkles y'all want to order? Like.
this is real talk. She's laughing, but this
like
real.
When you go to work, you're going to make it back, right? It's just like I just need these extra $500 for this thing so that I can make the money so that we can go to the next level.
That's it. But you know what?
Not safe.
You know what the thing is that how many people do you know would defer a car payment or house payment or something else for a bag, for shoes? Exactly. For a trip out with their girlfriend for $400 weave. Come on now. So it's not like we're not new to the concept. It's not like we're not like that we're new to the concept. It's not that we don't understand what it's like to invest. But it's just about what we're investing in and whether or not we're willing to bet on us. Right. That's the thing, is that we're not willing to bet on us. Because if it's somebody else's thing, it's like, oh, well, maybe. But when it comes to your thing and it's something that it all comes down to how you move, it's scary. It's like crazy scary, and not everybody's ready for it. Let me check the comments, because we're just talking. And we have Troy, we have Brown, we have Doug, we have Tasha, Vanessa, Joy, Akaria, and Terry said something before. She asked a question. She said, how do you keep the kids excited about the work?
You know, my kids are motivated by money. They love money and they love trips, and that's just it. Like Terry, they got me going to Stone Mountain in the morning. I mean, you know, in their mind is if they work, why can't they take a trip? So that's what keeps them going. But of course, like every other child, like they have their days when they don't want to do the thing, right? And it's like, okay, well, if you're not gonna work, we ain't gonna make no money. It's real simple to me. So when you start talking about we ain't gonna make no money, and you start talking about them not reaching their goals are also very important to them. Because like you say, you know, they can see their goals and they enjoy being able to check it off and saying that I did it, or we accomplished. Like anybody, when we accomplish something, we feel good about it. And so that's really what motivates them. I mean, I don't have to stand over my kids and be like, you started this, so you gonna finish. If anything, I'm like, for real, what is we doing now? Like, right. How did we get here?
I love it. And that's not normal. That's not I don't want to say normal. I don't like to use that word. That's not the average young mogul. That's not the average, because the average, they get excited about something amazing. And then either we as parents, we take it over and we make it less fun, or we forget to add in the incentives and make them a part of it, so that we kind of take control away from them. You know, so when we take control away from the kids, that it also becomes less fun. And if nobody wants to work, and I made this mistake in the beginning, Terry, with Xandra, is I made her wait too long before she started to see the fruit of her labor. You know what I mean? And that was the thing. And I advise anytime a parent's like, well, should they be getting paid? Absolutely. I made Xandra wait too long, where she was just like, she would go, even if it just from the product, it was like, we would go to a vending event, be like, oh, well, first of all, that was a lot of the things we did that did not work. So when we were in the season of doing things that did not work, and I wasn't a giver upper. So if it didn't work, it was like there was no money made, so she didn't get anything. So it was like, I just talked to people for 6 hours and I don't have anything. You know what I mean? So that had to change. So like for you, I think it's going to be, it's subjective, and it really depends on your child and what they're driven by. Incentives work, and really just making them involving them in the whole experience. They really need to be treated as if they're the CEOs. And that's it. And when you have meetings and you have milestones and you have goals, and like Sheva said, they can see them being checked off and everybody's moving forward together. It's just a far greater experience for them. And then they feel like this, and they understand that this is something they're building for their future, and it's a part of the family legacy. Then everybody just goes to work and does what they have to do with complaint free, you know, complaint free. Because there's moments where she's 19 and I'm still like, girl, if you don't get to the studio, you know, I'm like, girl, Can you look at Instagram today at all, right? And then there's days like today where I can't keep her face off of anything, you know,
Right.
where she's like ready to go. And then there's other days she's like, I'm just not feeling it, whatever. Let me see. Hey, Kia. So if you're a parent manager, if you are a parent, if you are an amazing business person, if you are someone that is enjoying this conversation, please make sure you share this video out. I'm trying to understand. It looks like we've had like 25 people on this live and I've only had 4 shares. I'm confused. Do I need to refresh my screen or y'all really just doing us like that? Share this live and come back and I'll give you a kissy face emoji or something. Let's see. Okay, so agreed. They have to buy into the process. I know Kia said she did the same thing with Kimmery. Big mistake. Hey, Danita. Okay, I'm just making sure that I didn't miss anybody else's question. Terry was just saying you have to be able to see past the fear. And absolutely, you have to be able to see past the fear. So I want everyone that's listening, everyone that's been enjoying this conversation to know that we've been talking about Dr. Sheva Quinn's experience in the Brand Strategy Lab. And the Brand Strategy Lab is one of our signature programs for the Raising a Mogul platform. And it's when you have an opportunity to spend 12 weeks with me, either building your child's brand from scratch or leveling up your child's brand to get to where it is that you and your young mogul actually really want to be. And that could be whether they want to be an author, whether they're trying to launch a skincare product or a product-based business. It could be whatever, you know, or if they're trying to be an amazing speaker, or they want to teach other kids a skill, or whatever it is that your child skill set, wherever their skills are, and you want to hone in on those skills and develop those skills, grow those skills so that you can actually turn it into a brand, a product or service that can yield them money, and maybe even you, because my child thing actually yields me money. Like I work for Xandra, so like if that's your goal, the Brand Strategy Lab might be for you. And like I said, it's a 12-week program. Let me tell you a little bit about changes. Big thanks to Dr. Sheva Quinn and all the amazing founding members. They helped me through the initial lab, helped me identify the things that were important, the things that were less important, and what to add into it to make sure that it was a complete experience for any parent manager that wanted to be a part of it. You can absolutely, I'll post a link at some point and so that you can look through it for yourself, but it does include a brand building. It's called Brand Build 2.0, where we go through the full process of product development, online and offline, branding, and when I say branding, I'm talking about branding beyond fonts, colors, and logos. Like that's what everybody thinks branding is. It's way bigger than that.
It's so much bigger.
So much bigger than that. Like the story, there's a whole creating. Let me tell you this. Xandra was a brand before we were even making any money. And just because we built it that way. So now it's undeniable. Now she has opportunities, people that are coming and looking for her and seeking her to collaborate with her because the brand is where it is, you know? And that was before we were, like I said, before she was even really making money. So included also in the Brand Strategy Lab is the Young Mogul Brand Strategy Lab. We just rebranded. It's I also added the social media boot camp. We have a sales and marketing component. We have getting into stores 101 for those of you that are looking to get your child's products actually into stores. That's in there as well. We have email marketing. And we also just recently added the Young Mogul Speech Academy because I know so many young moguls actually want to be speakers. And believe it or not, it's a natural progression when your child starts a business for them to get requested. You heard Dr. Sheva talk about her kids are now starting to get requested. People know who Ziggy and Tootie are, but they don't just show up and go to work for free. No, there's a strategy involved there to like, like Tootie's, do you have a tip for us? You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to get paid, okay? So it's like we can't. We left the house for this, okay? So that's what
my hair cold.
You know. Oh gosh, girl, that's the whole nother thing.
That is a whole thing in itself.
Exactly.
Black women in business. Listen, that's a whole nother fee attached.
Oh, wait a minute. You want that? What they got to do? What is on what? They have to wear what? Oh, wait a minute. Just for the inconvenience, $500 right at the top. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in demand, when your child has built a brand and people know Ziggy and Tootie, it's like cupcakes, cakes, celebration cakes, right? So even online, even if you've never even had a cake, You already, or tasted anything from them, you already know. And then you add on the layer of them being legit. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure that parent managers are equipped and ready and armed with everything they need so their kids can just dominate and just take over their niche, whatever their space is, and where their age doesn't even matter. The age will help, but it's definitely not going to hinder. It's not going to be a deterrent, because we're going to learn how to do business well, right, solid foundation, following all the rules and regulations, and so that we can be competitive with the big dogs. That's it.
That's it. I even received an invitation to run for mayor because of Ziggy and Tootie Cakes. Like, my kids put me on, y'all.
Listen, hey, when I tell you,
got a business in a community.
That's it. They are legit. You are a legit local celebrity, and even more so than that. And you know that, but I think a lot of us underestimate what it all looks like and what the possibilities are, because we can't see past, like Terry said, the fear, the risk, I don't even know if I can do that. Oh, I got to do something different. What they're going to think. I'm way past that. And then those of you that stay stuck in that, next year, we'll be having the same conversation, and I'll still be talking to you. And that's it. So Sheva, tell the people more about your programs, your services, the business bakery, and some of the new things you just launched, and how they can get in touch with you.
Oh my goodness. So what all do I have going on? Okay, so the business bakery is where I work with moms especially moms that have kids, and they are trying to build their business and take it from, I say, a bag of flour to the piping hot oven, right? Because it's difficult. It's difficult trying to raise kids and start your own business. And of course, I go by the homeschool mogul. And by that being the case, I'm connected to a lot of homeschool moms that's just like staying at home, wishing they had more money, but can't figure it out. So I'm your girl. I come in and I help you figure all that out. And I'm also an author. We just made Amazon best-selling author in 3 categories, again, related to the field of homeschooling. I've been homeschooling my kids since birth. They never been to public or private school, just daycares, but not school. And out of that has come this opportunity for me to work with other people that are ready to build to write their brand book. Because here's the thing that we know for sure. Every brand must have a book. If you don't have a book, you just like, oh, okay, you have a business. Well, that's cute. Like, a book certifies you. It validates you. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. It validates your calling, right? And so we are definitely working on that. And I am very proud of my brand book. I've written several books, of course, but my brand book, I'm excited about that book. And the reason that I am, maybe Tamara having back on the show for this later on, but my brand book is going to be called From Bankruptcy to Bakery, because throughout this journey, I filed for bankruptcy. I've divorced my husband twice. I was married to my baby daddy twice. We couldn't get it together.
Hold on. So that's 2 things you got to come back for, because we got y'all don't even know if y'all know my story, but we didn't get into that. Yeah, so okay.
And he's an awesome dad. He lives like 10 minutes away, so he is definitely a partner in raising these kids. But it's part of the story. Like, people often think that, oh my goodness, you guys, Ziggy and Tootie are doing so great, and you guys got together. And I'm like, child, do you know we just thought about who going to soccer practice yesterday? Like, they almost didn't make it.
I love it. But that's real talk. That's real talk. People need to understand that. And that's why, we talked about this earlier. People need to understand. And you need to, like, it's this thing is not easy, what we're doing. The kid piece, the entrepreneurship piece, that's why you need to invest in somebody that's doing it, that has done it, that's already taken all the bumps and the bruises, and that can just take you straight, no chaser. Okay, this is what you got to do. So if you're a homeschooling mom, if you're just a mom in general, and you're like, okay, what am I about to do? I need to get my life. I'm tired of depending on him. I'm tired of asking and waiting my turn. Now's the time. You need to get with Dr. Sheva Quinn. You need to write your story. You know, to use that book as to build a strong foundation. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, you need to release it so that you can get it out into the universe and just stand in your power and just start doing. Just start doing. You know, just start doing it. We all have so much to give. So Dr. Sheva, how do they get in touch with you?
You can email me at drshevaquinn@gmail.com. You can find me all over social media at Dr. Sheva Quinn. My website is Dr. Sheva Quinn. Everything is Dr. Sheva Quinn. It's branded, dog.
Say that's the way it is. I don't need, listen now, all of y'all, that's a lesson right there. Now, y'all didn't pay for this, but this is a tip. If someone's trying to find you, you can't be Dr. Sheva Quinn here and Dr. Sheva, the amazing one over here, and Sheva Dr. Quinn and Dr. Quinn, the author. No, it needs to be easy. You need to be Googleable. You want to be Googleable?
Yeah, exactly.
Make your stuff consistent. Trust me. Go Google Zandra and see what happens. Google Tamara Zantel and we'll see what happens. Google Raising a Mogul and see what happens. All the pages, it'll be consistent. I promise you, because you have to be clear. But that's a whole branding lesson, Sheva. We ain't about to do that. Not about to do that. Thank you, Kia. Kia is transcribing Business Bakeries. She's dropping all your business in the comments. We appreciate you. Welcome, Desiree. So Dr. Sheva, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for taking a chance on the Brand Strategy Lab, taking a chance on me and the whole Raising a Mogul platform, because this is not the first thing that you've invested in. And for you to be the first one in both programs is a big deal for me.
I'm like, let's go. I'm that person that I know I don't know everything. And you have to be ready to learn from someone else. And I'm a pretty smart chick, but when I showed up to the Brand Strategy Lab, I was like, you know what? I removed myself of everything that I've known before. I am here to learn. I just want to sit at the feet of someone else that has done it, that is doing it successfully, and that can teach me something. Because here's the thing, we can all go into an environment to where we're learning this from this person, and this coach over here has this, and this coach over here has that. But when it doesn't fit your business model, it's just like you're taking in all this information. And it has to be a part of what you're trying to accomplish. I'm trying to accomplish a successful child-based business, right? I'm trying to take my children, something they started, they were 3 and 4 years old, to legacy level. Like, I mean, some of your top leading don't know. And so it only made sense to be in the environment with not only other women and parents that were trying to do the same thing for their children, but to be a student of someone that is doing it, you know? So to me, it's a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. I'm like, okay, cool. What do we sign up at? When does it start? And once you get there, it's like the accountability is real. And that's what I needed. I needed the accountability piece, because I'm that chick. I will have 500 programs going on this desk at one time, and I'll massage all of them week after week, just in rotation, right? Because that's my liberty to work as I feel. But when you have other people around you that are being, they're stepping up and getting their things done, you can't be the broken link in the chain. Like, you cannot be the missing link. Like, you can't be back here talking about, well, I've been busy. Chick, we all been busy. What makes you
exactly. We were busy on what? Because this is stuff you said you was gonna do.
Right.
No, this is no excuse zone. So what's really going on?
Right. Yeah. And it's a sacrifice in a manner that if this is what you want, like, you have to show up, because we can't help you if you don't show up. I dare you to miss a meeting, because it might not be recorded. You might just be out of luck, because it might not be recorded. No, ask your teammates, because they too busy working their thing to be trying to give you notes.
That's hilarious. And it's probably like the best meeting like ever, right?
This don't mean if you try to go ahead, because their replay not be
available. We lived for those weekly meetings. Those weekly meetings, they're supposed to schedule for like an hour and a half. Conservative. We've been on the phone. We've been on Zoom for like 4 hours. We'd be like, okay, y'all, we gotta go.
But here's the thing about it, though. Like, I think in a world of internet where we all have access to taking online programs and courses, we're quick. Well, we know that there's always going to be a replay. Like, if I miss it, there's a replay. So therefore, it lessens the possibilities of you actually showing up and doing the work, right? And I'm not saying to remove the replays, but when you know that there's a possibility that your coach get caught up while talking and she might not hit that record button, oh, your tail gonna show up.
That would be me. And guess what? Didn't nobody miss no meetings after that.
Like, you know how this is gonna turn out.
Everybody's gonna be like, yo, that was fire. Like, oh my goodness, we learned so much. Like, I got my whole life. And then it was like, I'll catch the replay. And I was like, so about that. And after I was like, what? Yes, I know.
It makes you be accountable for the things that you say you want, right? Of course, replays are there. We just, being silly, but it holds you accountable. Like, if these are the things that you say you want, you got to show up and get them done, because no one else is going to do it. Like, you can be taught all the tools in the world, but until you put them to work, oh my goodness, like, you can learn government contracting from, anybody, but until you sit down and get your Sam's and Dunn's number, your damn self, it ain't gonna matter. Like, it just doesn't matter, right? Matter.
And if you don't, it's just information overload. You're just banking and storing information. Your Dropbox is full, your Google Drive is full, but for what? If you don't have intentions, what do you? So really, you're investing your energy and your effort into downloading a whole bunch of stuff, or
that you ain't gonna do nothing with, no time.
Do nothing with. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you brought that up. I appreciate that. The accountability piece is huge. You need to be marching and working alongside other like-minded parent managers that are like for real. This thing, like, okay, wait, you did this. Oh wait, I did this. So it's a very healthy competition, but like, everybody gives and also everybody gets. So it's not unequally yoked at all, which is why with this level, with this cohort, this next level of the brand strategy lab, which I'm actually doing it by an application process, which don't get scared, y'all. It's not like you got to sign your life away. It's not like that. There's no check boxes involved. You just have to book a call with me so we can talk through the process, because for one, I don't want to work with everyone. And for two, I need to make sure that you're willing to make the investment, your time commitment, and also your money. And that's it, because not everybody's ready. And I don't want you and me to let somebody in and that person be the weakest link. Like Sheva was saying, like, no one wants to be the weakest link. And I won't do that to the other people that have already invested and committed to doing the work. So you're not,
people think that they can jump the chain, right? Like, you can automatically get things done. There is timing in this process. Like, if we were in the AFES malls 6 months ago, we wouldn't have been ready, right? Like, we would have not had the systems and the ability to produce in mass orders, right, that we have now. Like, sometimes we get so anxious to want to be the first out that we don't actually understand that there's a process, right? Like there's levels to this thing. But because we have done the foundation in the groundwork, now when APs calls and they're like, hey, can you guys do such and such, such and such? We're in a position to say yes. And if we're not in a position to say yes, we know who to go to so that we can get the resources and tools that we need so that we can say yes.
Yep.
But before then, it was just, you wasn't ready or we wasn't ready. Right. So there's levels.
We went through the same thing just a year ago with Target. We weren't ready. Well, we had to get ready. We got ready. We took a huge risk, but we knew it was scary as heck. We had been in stores for years, but that was a whole different situation, but I had to have conversations and with other people that had already done it, but had I not invested, I wouldn't have had access to those people to then tap into that network when I was ready. When Xander was ready, or when it was time to, the questions came up, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have been.
I know exactly what you mean.
So that's called network, it's called building, building the brand and building your community. And we started this live out and we talked about the things that we leave behind, but we haven't really touched on the things that you gain when you grow. And as you elevate and the levels, and the air gets thicker and it gets harder to breathe and you just have to adapt to this new altitude. There's other people there. There will be other people there that will grow and expand, that are also stretching with you, that understand what you're going through, that can talk you through things, talk you into things, that will push you, pull you, stretch you. And it just feels right. There are people that you will connect with that you'll say, they said it was this and we would get paid this. What do you think? In seconds, no, don't do it. Or yes, go ahead and do it. Here's why. Here's why. Decision makers. That's what people that are making the money, they're making decisions quick. You know what they're doing? They're making a phone call and they're tapping into their network. The people that are already there, that already have a seat at the table. They're not taking 6 and 8 weeks and a year and trying to figure out if they, you know, what grandma thinks and, you know, no. You gotta move. Money loves speed.
Yep.
And I'm running.
And there's nothing like having a pinpoint, like someone that you can say, hey, I'm thinking about this and what are your thoughts on it? From someone that has done it. Like, I think before the brand strategy lab, yeah, of course I would have still been doing business, moving at my own pace. But being a part of the brand strategy lab allowed me to say, you know what, I can step out here because I know I have a parachute. Like if I make a decision, I know that I have someone over here to help me recover if it's the wrong decision, right? Or I know that I have somebody over here that can help me take this thing even higher if it's the right decision. Not having that, that's part of the fear, because we know that things are going to cost us. Like we know that we have to eventually move in business, but when we don't know how to move and we haven't surrounded ourselves with people that know how to move, well, then it makes it even more scarier. But when you're like, oh shoot, all I gotta do is what? Oh, okay, cool. We'll have it done next week. Yep. Because you know you can say, hey, Tamara, I see you guys have done such and such, such, such. We're getting ready to do this. You got some pointers for me? And it just makes the process so easier. But when you're talking to folks that ain't never, again, did a kid's business, they don't know what you're talking about. You try to get some candy apples well, like you want them in a Great Wolf Lodge? I'm like, yeah, I want them on the front counter.
That's it. And guess what? It's going to happen. It's going to make it happen, and that's it. Absolutely. So this has been amazing. Once again, I want to thank you, Sheva, for investing the time, for taking the time out of your crazy schedule, because I know you have a lot going on. I appreciate you coming on Raising a Mogul TV with me and just talking through this process of taking risk and investing, and what does that look like in the level up process? Because so many people that are watching and that will watch this replay, they're on a fence, or they're at a pivotal point in their personal life, their business life, with either their own business or their child's business, where they have decisions to make, you know, and they're not really sure if they're ready. They're not really sure what they should invest, how much they should invest, even though I don't think that when you're ready to invest, you need to think about how much you need to just invest if it's going to get you where you want to be. But they're just not ready. You know, and hopefully throughout this conversation, people will start to feel ready. And if there are parent managers that are watching that are ready, but you just weren't really sure you're ready, but you're like, I feel like you're like, or like the double dutch where you're trying to jump in, but the rope is just whipping. You hear that whip, and you're like, oh, I'm not sure. Like wherever you are on the journey, wherever your entry point is, I know you gathered some great information from this conversation this evening. And I want to make sure that each of you at some point can see yourself in our stories, you know, because neither one of us started out with all the answers, you know, that we're both gifted and talented in different areas, but we still had to invest in somebody else to help us get to a different, you know, to learn more about a different area, or just to level up, or, you know, to push past some things or towards some things, you know. So if that's you and you're interested in the brand strategy lab, come holla at your girl. Remember, there's an application process, because I don't want to work with anyone. And if you are interested in writing your story, writing your child's story, homeschooling services, so many parents in our community are really starting to understand the importance of homeschooling their kids, especially kids in business. My kids were homeschooled. If they were still in school, they would, Dr. Sheva Quinn would be their teacher between, I'm serious, because I'd be like, look, I ain't got time for this no more, Sheva. I need you to just do the whole thing. Can you just do the whole thing? Like, seriously, if y'all smart, you just ask Sheva to do. Seriously, I told her earlier today, I said, I would totally be like, did I tell you or did I tell Jimmy? I was like, if I was starting over in homeschooling, I would just be like, can we just Skype into your house every morning? So, I swear I will have the kids dressed and ready, and I'll put it on the big screen, because it's no joke. And homeschooling cannot be taken lightly. You really have to be organized. You got to know all the stuff. And the only way my kids survived and graduated was because Jimmy, my husband, is serious about it. And that's just the way his brain works. Whereas me, I'm like, oh, we can wear pajamas today if you want. Let's just cuddle on the couch and make paper airplanes. And nobody graduated from my school. I'm telling you right now. They're not. I'm just saying, like, that's not my mission.
Right.
That's not my mission, right? So anyways, if you are that mom, that dad, that you're thinking of taking the leap, and even if you already have a plan and you just want someone to consult with, Dr. Sheva Quinn is your girl. And also if you're, looking to level up in business and you're a mom and you're trying to figure out and find your way, the Business Bakery is there to support you. So Sheva, again, I want to say thank you. We have all your contact information. Everyone that's watching the replay, thank you for watching. Everyone that has been rocking with us for a little over almost an hour and a half, we've been on here.
Thank you. Could talk more, right?
I know we could have just went on, and I will bring Dr. Sheva Quinn back because there was like 3 other conversations we need to have, and some of them was kind of juicy. So I promise you, stay tuned. This is like the end of the season, right? We'll be back. Y'all got to be ready for the next episode.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you all for rocking with us for all this time. We appreciate you. Be kind to each other, and we'll see you soon.
Good night, guys.